Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, my name is Jovanka Fadhillah. I'm from class A. On this occasion, I will explain about revealing the secret of people who were immune to the coronavirus. So far, it is known that people who are vulnerable to the coronavirus are those who have a low immune system. Some of them, for example, the elderly, people with congenital disease, and pregnant women. Since the coronavirus is often associated with the immune system, you might wonder, is there a class of people who is completely immune to infection with this deadly virus? Everyone can catch the coronavirus. In fact, people who have been exposed to it can also be hit for the second time. However, it all depends on our immune system. The body's first line of defense against infection viruses is an antibody called hemoglobin M, whose job is to stay alert in the body and alert the entire immune system to invaders such as viruses and bacteria. Day after day, the immune system purifies the antibodies into a second type called hemoglobin G. Antibodies of this type are designed to recognize and neutralize certain viruses. Antibodies produced in response to infection with multiple viruses, poly or measles, provide lifelong immunity. However, antibody to the coronavirus that causes flu can only last up to 1 or 3 years. A study in China called blood type O rate as more immune to COVID-19, while people with blood type A are susceptible to the coronavirus. Reported from the South China Morning Post, researchers took the blood group pattern. Medical researchers took the blood type of 2,000 COVID-19 patients. The researchers found that patients with blood type A had very high levels of infection. Group A tends to experience more severe symptoms. The researchers also said that this study is still early and needs further research. And do you know that T cells? T cells are a type of immune cells whose main benefit is to identify and kill pathogens that attack or kill infected cells. This is done by using proteins on the surface, which can bind to the protein on the surface of the viruses. This is done by using protein on the surface, which can bind to the proteins on the surface of the virus. Each T cell is very specific. There are trillions of versions of the surface protein, each of which can recognize and different target. Persist in the blood of years after infection. They also contribute to the immune system and allow it to promote a more rapid and effective response when exposed to an invading virus. But scientists have also recently found that some people test negative for COVID-19 antibodies, but positive for T cells that can identify the virus. There raises the suspicion that some levels of immunity to disease might be twice as common as previously thought. Strangely, when researchers test blood samples taken years before the pandemic began, they found T cells specifically designed to detect protein on the surface of COVID-19. This shows that some people already have a level of resistance to the virus before it infects humans. During a normal human response, for example, a person has the flu virus, the first line of defense is the innate immune system, which involves white blood cells and chemical signals that triggers alarms. They begins antibody production, which start a few weeks later. These unlike T cells are then rapidly and brutally killed, either directly by the T cells themselves or by another part of the immune system that recruit to that self tags before the virus has a chance to turn them into a feeble factory, produce more copies of itself. Vaccines are designed broadly depending on the type of immune response scientists expect. Some may trigger the production of antibody, free-floating protein that can bind to invading pathogens and neutralize them or flag them for another part of the immune system to handle. However, if someone who has the flu virus does experience mild symptoms of COVID-19, this bodes well for vaccine development because it is evident that the remaining T cells can provide significant protection. Even the years, there are might, but even if that not so, T cell involvement can still be beneficial. And the more we understand what's going on, the better. Next, the vaccine will impulse T cells or it may trigger a response from other part of the immune system. There is an enormous spectrum of design for this vaccine. The researchers found T cells specially designed to detect proteins on the surface of COVID-19, indicating that some people already had a level of resistance to the virus before it infected humans.